Learning is Nishmas at Ahuva Bava Basra Perek Zayin Mishna Gimel. So we learned in the last Mishnah that if you say Mida Bechevel, then it's Dafka, the base core offer that you're selling, and if it goes down even a Kol Shehu, then it's Machzer. However, if you say Hein Cheser, Hein Yaser, then up until a Roiva Lisa, which is about 4%, 1 out of 24, so then the halacha would be that it's a Mechila. The shaila in this mission is if he uses both l'shainis. He says first mida b'chevel ani moichalach, and then he says right away hein chaser hein yaser. So the halacha is batal hein chaser hein yaser mida b'chevel. You go batzar l'lashon achron. The same thing, the opposite. If he says hein chaser hein yaser, and then he says mida b'chevel, is batal mida b'chevel. You go batzar the mida b'chevel is mevatel that which you said hein chaser hein yaser. Divrei benanis. The Gemara says that the Rabbanan argue. When the Rabbanan hold that it is a suffix, whether it's Tfais Lashon Rishon, Tfais Lashon Achron, and therefore it's Halach Achar Pachat Shabel Shainis. We say that the Moicher is the Muchzik, and the Lekeach takes the least of the Shiurim. The Mishnah continues, B'simanav u'mitzvah. Let's say he says, I'm selling you a base core, and these are its boundaries. So it's clear that he wants specifically this area. And the Rashbam explains, therefore, it would be no matter what size it is, being kato, being gadol. But since he also said base core, so therefore there is a hakpada a little bit, and therefore the Mishnah says, pachas meishtus higiu ad shtus yinake, that until a shtus is he's meichel, and after a shtus, then you would cheshbon in how much the change was to pay more or less. The shtus itself is a machlekes in the Gemara. Miram Rav Huna says shtus is like pachas mishtus, and Rav Yehuda says that shtus is kiyoser mishtus. The Rashbam points out that this Mishnah is not referring to the din I know, which is a shtus, which is a 6. In this Mishnah, it's just saying that because, like we said earlier, he's saying that this is the simanav in the mitzvah, so he looks like he doesn't have akbada, but yet he does say it's a base core. So the Rabbanan Zetstein that in B'chiyagam the person's moichel up until a 6, as opposed to the shir that we had in the last Mishnah when he said hein chaser hein yeser, the mechila was up until 1/24th. Over here, it's instead of being 4%, it's 4 times that. Rishbam says it's kiflei kafayim. Instead of being a 1/24th, it's 1/6. Mishnah Dalet ho'imer lechaverei chatzi soda ani moichelach. If someone says I'm selling you a half a field, so the halacha is that it's yad moicher al helyona, and he could decide yad lekeach al tachteina, and he could decide which half of the field he's selling, and the lekeach would take the worst amount. That's what the Mishnah means. Mishamnim beineim v'noitel chatzi sadeu. The same thing if he says chetzia b'daram ani moichelach, he sells you half part in the south. So over here, the Gemara says that it just means l'dmei. Now we evaluate how much the half in the south costs, but which field he decides to give him doesn't have to be in the south. That's just the dmei to figure out how much he's selling. So let's say it's $100,000 field, and the half part in the south is $40,000. So now he could give him $40,000 worth of karka any place in the field. So that's Misham Meneim V'noitel Chetzia B'darim. The Mishnah also adds in one last halacha, V'hu Mikabel of Mokum Hageder Charitz Ubein Ben Charitz. The Lekeach has to realize that he's not going to get in this field the place of the fence. A Charitz is a bigger ditch of 6 tvachim, and the Gemara explains plus another tefach between the big Charitz and Ben Charitz, which is the smaller ditch. So you have a 6 tefach ditch, then another tefach, then a 3 tefach ditch, like the Mishnah fears Zayis, v'kamu charitz shisha tefachim, and ben charitz is shloisha. And the reason for this, the Gemara explains, is to protect you from the animals, because if it was a very skinny ditch, he could just jump over it. If it was a very big ditch, then the animal will go in and jump out from there. But with this combination of the big ditch next to the small ditch, the animals won't be able to get in. And the Mishnah is telling me again that the lekeach has to be makabel of this makam, that he's not going to get that part within the field.